What is up, all you Valorant lovers? That's right, it is me, the OG Ben. I am the only one right now. We might have Queen McRib and Eli joining us. We did have some dilemmas, and that is why it is I, just the OG, coming to you as just me. So, as we are getting onto this tonight, we do have the two San Diego State University teams of red and white going against each other. It's going to be definitely a good battle, for sure. I don't want to give any predictions yet because I know both teams play very well. I would have to say, they're both very strong teams. They're just, this is where they just take it for themselves. This is where they're going head to head because they just gonna show who's the best. What San Diego State University team is the best? So as we're getting into this, to split, a very interesting map. I have to say is one of the more interesting maps. And why is because of the vent system. The vents that there's more than one way to get around the map. You can always do a long rotation, which is fair. Get the flanks, maybe get behind them, or you can go through the middle, getting kind of like a middle flank or like a middle position. So definitely interesting, very interesting. So this is definitely gonna be fun as we had the red side on the attackers and the white side on the defenders. So we're gonna have to see who starts it off and who's going to come off strong right now. Are we going to be able to see the attackers start off with a very strong aggressive move, or this defender is going to be like a brick wall and nothing's going to get through them? This is the dilemma. Who's going to take it? Who's going to get that momentum and really just run with it? Take a spaceship and launch off. This is what we have to see. As we are getting into this match, of course, first round, can't buy anything. The pistol round. This is where you start getting your economy. This is where everything starts to pop off, as one would say. We got 30 seconds, but everyone's getting their jitters out. I know I am. I feel like I'm hyper caffeinated right now because, it's like went to bed late in the morning playing video games, of course. What am I? I'm a gamer. So I drank a large coffee. Didn't do anything. I thought it didn't do anything to me. And then I drank a Monster. Totally bad combination because everything just hits you at once. It's like, boom. And everything's just weird. So, if I seem like I'm talking very fast or just like rambling on, it's because I'm hyper caffeinated, it feels like. I'm gonna try to stay as focused as I can, and let's do this. As I already starting off, seems kind of slow. They aren't necessarily pushing anything super much. As we do have the attackers right now, they're not. No one's going anywhere. It's nothing. Everyone's just standing still. What an interesting thing. As they do have white now finally starting to get the flashes off with Quasi as a breach as they start to push in. As Hemphis gets Rolf as one of the first bloods. Defenders are looking like that brick wall right now. They are definitely able to defend against these attackers if they do try to come in, as it's already a 4v2.
Enemy down.
But Dynamite with the headshot on Hesvis as he's already gotten a couple kills. Really turning it around. Really turning around for the team as Dynamite is exploding on this team right now. Here we go again, Mr. Dynamite. Stuck in this position behind this wall. He's, the team, Mr. V right here, or V does know that Dynamite is behind that wall. But how is he gonna push it? That's the question. As the Killjoy, as there you go, just a quick peek, and that's all that V needed. Boom, dead, done. Now we're moving on to round 2. Again, now we have the whites already won the first round. I want to say, they do get a little bit of more economy, and the reds they get a loss bonus, but we still don't have a momentum yet. Even though white does look strong as they did win the first round, and they do have some guns bought already. We see the attackers for the red team trying to get into B site. trying to put down that spike to really push him into their side, to push him into their home and field advantage. As Ralph is going for the spike plant. Spike is now down. This is where the defenders have to start pushing into the attackers while the attackers set up to be the new defense. Killjoy putting the assault rifle down, their bot down. Quasi getting on listen, and then Drag changing it to V, and Hespec turning it to Drag. As AH over here gets one kill, tries to pick up a weapon to change it around, but now he's the last one, and it is not looking good for them right now. White now going into winning 2 rounds. They are starting to get somewhat of momentum. They do have a they do get some weapons now. Not sure, they can't go a full buy just yet. This is where you, once you get a couple wins under your belt, I would say at least 4, that's when your momentum really starts to build up. And if you are the red team and you start buying, especially a full buy, and you start going down, your economy's really going to start hurting. As we do see both teams try to go as close as they can to a full buy, as Quasi has not purchased full shields, but more of a light shield. So maybe he's trying to save it for some abilities. As AH is now pushing out to get that first interaction off as the first blood. It was not looking too good for him. As he was able to get anybody. Are the defenders going to be able to push around and get AH over here in the Omen? As Drag now trades it to Hefs. But Ralph over here trying to get the peek. Gets the peek on Lucid with the headshot. Perfect precision. What we like to see. That's good gun skill. Defenders not looking too good this round with a 5-3 lead. The attackers could pull it. I'm saying I have high hopes for the attackers, as the attackers are starting to move in groups. They're trying to push for A, but they know that someone's near them, watching a corner. They don't know what corner yet. As Rigby now has his visual block, knowing that they're probably in front of him. If he comes behind him and gets his shots on, he could take out at least 2 to 3 players, depending on how close he is. He is going with a submachine gun, and that submachine gun has a heavy recoil on it as well. If you can control recoil, you're in the green. As V does, I don't know if he knows that there is somebody below him. Not exactly sure. As he does walking through, gets Ralph from the behind. It is now a 2v3. Spike is going down as Drag is stuck in the corner. And attackers win as Drag gets a 3K for this round. Here we go now. Seems like Red is pushing back. They're keeping their breathing room. They don't want to get left behind in the dust. So they're going to keep fighting for their position. As I said, both these teams are pretty good. Especially if they practice together, they're going to know each other very well. So they're going to know each other's weaknesses, and this is when the game gets hard. When someone knows your weaknesses, you have to cover that with a strength. Quasi trying to get some pop shots off through the smoke. We do hear a lot of shots going off, but nothing taken, no damage given yet. As Lucid is pulling back into site B, as they do think probably it is going to be a beast push, as that's what it looks like from the minimap as well. The B push going from middle to left. They do have, as Lucid already getting 1 kill. Lucid starting it off pretty strong with the first interaction, still evening out the team with a 4v4. As they are, as we can see now, the attackers are trying to take vents for the A push, but they do have 1. They got 2, almost got 3. Hef starting it off very well, now evening out for themselves at a 3v2, giving them the little bit of advantage as Dynamite is trying to switch it around to go back to A, taking another rotation, or is he going to stay at Heaven? As Dynamite is trying to look for those coming, as Drag is checking corners and checking the doorways.
player standing.
But even though Drag knew the positioning, Rigby was still able to outgun him. As Dynamite is now the last character. Is he going to try to go for this plant? Or is he going to keep his gun? How's his economy looking? He does not have any abilities. Armor's been shot. All he has is his gun. You can assume that his economy is probably a little bit lower. So he is going to try to keep as much as he can. Which is a very smart idea. Alright, now as Dynamite, as we can see, a lot of them did go with... They've bought their abilities, and some have... Looks like they all want the heavy armor. Maybe it's just a screen delay, as I do not see the heavy armor from my side. Or now is Lizinix. I can't even pronounce that, to be honest. Now has no armor.
Get out of my way.
But the side of white does have a full buy, so that's what they're gonna have to go with. They do have armor that red is gonna have to go through as Drag brings out the sword, the Blade Storm, trying to get some kills. Misses his Blade Storm, and the defenders of white side wipe through the attackers right now like a hot knife on butter. Securing another win, 4v1. They are now gaining this momentum and having this economy for themselves to go in with full buys every round. And Red is just trying to keep up. They do the best they can. The abilities aren't bought. Sometimes they're having to choose of what type of buys they need: guns, armor, and abilities. Because White does have the advantage with having all the abilities in the full buy. Can Red come back? Can Red give themselves breathing room again? As we do see, they are setting up for an A and a B push as the attackers are rushing B through left side and middle. Quasi setting out a flash to see if he gets anybody. Is he going to take any pop shots through the door as his visual is blocked? The Omen knows somebody's there. Blocking Quasi in his visuals. See AH with a great ultimate use. Now getting that intel. As AH, they do move. And now we're trading back and forth onto the point. The attackers having 5v4 as Quasi coming behind them, getting Rolf.
Look behind you.
And then have Drag with amazing gunplay right there. As Hef again gets AH. Now with 3v1. Trying to guard the spike as Mr. Dynamite does get him. And then Quasi cleans it up. Getting that defuse. Now we're going into 5v1. They're looking pretty good. They do have their momentum. Again, this economy is not looking too great for Red, as they have lost and they've been trying to buy a lot. I'm surprised we haven't seen any OPs on the field yet. Assuming we will probably see it at some point, probably when we get closer to half.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
There we go again, as now they are going, as Red is starting to attack right now.
Off your feet!
They are doing a hard B push from left side. They are going in with all visuals being blocked. The defenders now have to go around. They have to do a long rotation around, so they are trying to rush over there, and they are behind. As Lucid is trying to get pop shots off through the visuals being blocked. Oh man, and as they are trading back and forth, Hef and Dynamite, Drag and Hef, Lucid and Lynx. Rolf with the getting ultimated by Rigby. And Rigby not able to clean it up on the Phoenix as the AH only has 7 left. Gets him down. Quasi now going for the defuse. Now 6-1 as we head in to round 8. No, wait, 6. Yeah, no, we're on 8. And it's 12 rounds to the half. I don't know. Right now, white is definitely having their momentum, and they are running with it, and they do not want to give red any breathing room. Red needs to come back, as it looks like they're preparing for another strong B push from far left and middle. AH now trying to get, as his visuals have been blocked, as Quasi's visuals have been blocked. Is he going to go try to get some, he tries to get a flash out to see if anybody's there. Is he going to try to get some pop shots off? Try to get any damage at all. As Quasi knows, people are probably looking into this doorway. They did get flash, and he does know that they're there. As V getting a wall bang through the corners. Drag now trying to, as we do have Rigby coming in behind, clearing him out, as Quasi now knowing since Rigby went down, there's one left. Quasi cleaning it up and following up with it. Now one left. Mr. Dynamite does not have the spike. The spike has been left. He has to either go back and get it, or he's going to get downed. Now the 8th round over, 7-1. Going into this 9th round, again, white's looking pretty strong, and red is not able to get any of their breathing room back right now. And look, and we can even see from the scoreboard, red is struggling to get full buys. They are going with as much armor as they can.
Get out of my way.
And they're trying to make it to where they can at least try to come back. But white, having their economy full buys, they really don't have to worry about too much. And they are set up as already white with the first initiation, getting the first blood, kind of messing up their team already. We do see that red is buying the cheaper weapons, no ARs, all SMGs. The ARs do have a better attacking range, as Mr. Dynamite does get flashed, but is able to get around the corner just fast enough. Quasi now going down as he does get hurt a little bit. They are pushing Quasi back, which is good, as Young V is waiting for this team to come up, as the Omen does block the visuals. But Lucid getting Mr. Dynamite. As Young V is able to get the wall shots through the flawless victory as we're finishing up this 9th round. 8-1. This game could be a steamroll, folks. Red is not looking good to come back right now. The economy is pretty low for them. They're going full armor and weapons, but I don't think they have any abilities as of right yet. As we do have full buys and full abilities on white side, which gives them the best advantage. It's going to have to come down to sheer game skill and map knowledge to really pull this off from red side, to start giving themselves some breathing room. Otherwise, this game's going to be over before they know it. As Lucid was playing around with his weapon and almost got caught off guard, and then AH trades it for Lucid.
I know
AH
exactly
does put up the fire shield as a firewall. Uses it again as a shield, hopefully get a plant down. But we do have the grenade there that does push him back a little bit, as Quasi does try to get a shot off, and Drag coming up behind Quasi. Quasi not expecting it, as Young V is waiting patiently to go in at the right time. Rigby coming around slowly but surely, trying to get behind him. Rigby not knowing that there is somebody in this left corner, as Drag is also waiting for somebody to come up through the flank. We do have a 4v2. It is looking like it's going to go red side for this round. Is this where red is going to start closing it off themselves? Attackers winning now, as winning the 10th round for themselves, 2-8. Is this where they're finally going to start coming back a little bit? Do we get full buys from at least some of them? Your economy still is significantly lower than white's. You know what? I'll just say my bet is yes. Then again on San Diego State University. I'm playing both sides, so I come out on top. That's how you gotta do it. As AH is waiting for, they're doing a slow push this time. The defenders are able to get set up as they are going for another B push from far left and middle. They are trying to rotate through as Rigby as taking Quasi's spot in the doorway. Now Rolf trying to push up as Quasi brings out the OP. As I said, we were waiting for the OP as Young V gets the kill on Rolf. Lucid then following the frag. Lucid then following again was Listen. As we do have the Cypher being the last one alive, Mr. Dynamite. Is he going to try to save his gun? But we do have a hunt for him. As White is going hunting. Mr. Dynamite now in a spawn. Looks like he's just going to wait it out as he does have the spike. He could go A push, A rotation, try to get the spike down. Does get a little bit of money for himself. But then he is going to alert the whole White team to his position.
30 seconds left.
He could probably get a couple of kills off, which would help him out. Buying abilities, armor, has not been touched yet.
Ten seconds left.
It's a quiet game for sure as Mr. Dynamite does not go for... Gets one kill. Mr. Dynamite not going for the plant. 1 second left. Trying to go for the kills and maybe hurts their economy just enough. But only able to get one kill for not a flawless round. This is the last round. This is your Hail Marys. This is where you gotta put everything into it. Can't hold back. Make sure your hands are warm. Make sure your flicks are on point. This is where you gotta go Ultra Instinct. This is where you need to get your breathing room back. This is where you gotta stop White's momentum. Red, you can do this. We always believe in the underdogs. The White is looking very mighty strong as Quasi gets the first OP kill on Drag. Now Lucid, knowing that there's people over there using the abilities to slow him down. Rigby using the Boomba, I mean, as we do call it now with the EDU. I know for sure an SUSD. San Diego State University is definitely going to take this game. I know that for absolutely sure. I can predict that with full 5-star brain right there, or 5 brain. It's not going to be that smooth. Not tonight. I am hyped up on caffeine, so I don't know where my brain is, to be honest. As Hif tries to get some shots off, does do some damage against Mr. Dynamite. Hef does take down Mr. Dynamite. He gets caught with the reload as Ralph does take out Hef's.
Spike planted.
Spike being planted by Rolf now pushing them into the side. Young V able to get the avenging for Rolf, and then takes out one more right now as he does go for the, I'm assuming for the defuse. AF is now dead from Rigby. Going now, V definitely getting the defuse, going into this, ending this half, a 10-2. White has 3 more points to take this.
Switching sides.
And we have already seen White has been pretty strong with their gun game, with their gun skills. They have showed themselves to be pretty well versed with their pistols. I'm not sure if Red's gonna be able to push it back right now, as they might need to wait for their weapons.
There.
Let's just see
There.
if Red can pull this off. Can they start it off with now? Can they bring their economy back? And can they start dancing around and really bring it back for themselves? We do see Whiteside is going to go for a B push. It looks like since Red is split up, if they go do for a strong B push, as Mr. Dynamite does get his information. only he knew, Mr. Dynamite, how close he was to getting at least some kills. And how close he was to a full fire squad on him. Mr. Dynamite does get flashed now from that breach. And the wall is put up. The spike is going down.
Spike planted.
He's not able to get the shots over the box. Mr. Dynamite able to get the shots on Hefts though. As Lucid changes to Mr. Dynamite. Drag trying to push in now. Getting the headshot to 2v3 for these pistol rounds. Drag trying to get it. As Rigby tries to come up behind him. And Rolf with the wall bang. There we go. Red taking this for themselves. A 3-10. Now what to see here is White going to go for any weapons of sort. Or are they going to do another eco round? They could be trying to do an eco round. As we do see actually... No, Red is starting to buy some weapons. We have some SMGs and an assault and... Yeah, mostly SMGs and one assault rifle. As White does look like they're sticking with pistols for the most part. Again, probably just trying to do a economic round, get some more points up, and then they can buy weapons in the next round or in 2 rounds. As they do have that loser bonus. Coming into this game, now we do have some weapons. Is Red gonna be able to turn this around for themselves? As Dragon Listen able to be a firing squad and take out a couple, but Lucid able to switch it around already as we go into a 4v3. As Quasi did get the flash shot, but wasn't able to push it. As Rolf is now turning it around for himself as he gets the shots on Hef.
One enemy remaining.
As we do see White is not looking too good in these first 2 rounds of this last half. Quasi stuck on the ropes, literally. Trying to figure out which way he wants to go. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Not able to get any of these kills off right now. As it now is 10-4. Still lead White, but Red is trying to catch up. So what do you think, Eli? Is there going to be... Who's going to win this? Yes. Alrighty. As we go into, again, this buy phase, we do see White is now picking up some ARs for themselves. But Red is still sticking with the SMGs and 1 AR. As we do see the attackers in White going for the A push. AH being pushed out from all the fires coming through the visuals, being blocked. As Young V is looks like he's trying to get the flank from B side, from middle to either A side. Here we go to the silent push. What seemed to be a slow push now is starting to gain some traction as Rigby is trying to get these shots off. If only he knew that he could shoot right through the wall and probably get a kill. As Lucid is trying to push, being very careful as the visuals are blocked. Is he ready for when the visuals do go away? As Drag gets beat down by Quasi and Lucid, able to come out of the visuals being blocked, just straight to the head. As we do hear the spike going down.
Spike planted.
Spike being planted as Rolf is now stuck in between 3 players. Both corners being watched.
One player remaining.
Rigby able to turn around on Rolf. As we do have Mr. Dynamite left. How's he going to play this? Able to get 1 kill off, but Hef turns it around to Mr. Dynamite. Following up with the kill. They're coming in now. 2 rounds left for White to win. It's looking pretty strong for them as they did take those loss bonuses and now use them for weapons. And they turned it around for themselves already. We do see AH going for an optic. Not an optic. An OP. Have to see if he's going to get these shots off as he's already aimed in for the A push. As he silently waits for his, as he is the hunter for his prey. But Rolf able to turn it on Rigby as Lucid does get Rolf. And Lucid does... Did he hurt his teammate? Now there we go with AH on Lucid. Hef trying to maybe turn it around and get this op off the field. Quasi turning around and listen. Quasi's been definitely a strong player this game for themselves. Young V trying to get these flanks as well, as it does look like Red is trying for a long rotation to B side. And White is already getting their stuff set up. Got the spike down as the Killjoy does put up all of her tactics. We got this. The Sentry Gun is AH is trying to get this OP kill, but gets traded out for an AR. This is a close game or a close match, and that OP, but it's a close area, so that OP would not work. As AH does get one off with Rigby, and now they know where he is.
One enemy remaining.
As Quasi being the last one. Quasi walking right past AH almost as he did not see him. I'm not sure if he got flashed. Red able to get 1 point back. We still do have 2 wins needed for White. They have not pushed it back yet too far where it's going to be a 2-lead advantage. As Drag has an OP as well now, as I think he did trade it from AH. As we end the spy phase now going into this, we do see the attackers trying to go for a strong A side push. AH now have to turn back because the Boomba is out. The Boomba is out. As Drag's still trying to get these OP kills. Just barely pushing the corner so if he can get anyone at the feet as Rolf comes in and does take out Quasi. And then they're taking out Lucid. With the OP even being that close. He's definitely proven to be quite a worthy opponent. The red side team. As V is trying to find out where these people are. We're gaining back the spike. As Listen taking out Rigby. They're starting to push back. They definitely are trying to get their breathing room back in order. Drag is trying to get some pop shots off, see if he can take anybody out. It's quiet. As we are looking for a slow push to see if they pop these corners. But Drag is ready, getting the OP kill. Rolf finishing it up with a V. Now 6-11. If Red keeps this, they can catch up. They can definitely catch up. It's looking good for Red as they have one good amount in the row. Hurting White's economy. But White can be able to push back. Was White just taking a couple econ rounds for themselves? As Drag is able to get an OP kill off already. As Hef is trying to look through the smoke. His visuals are blocks, but Listen, he's right there in the corner. Able to get 2! Which really hurts White side. Able to get those 2 off as Mr. Dynamite is running away. Now very hurt as well. As Rigby does know that Mr. Dynamite did go around that corner. Having low health, try to throw that grenade to see if he could get that final kill off. As it seems like they're all kind of corner camping right now. As we do see Hef's planning at A.
Planted.
Now that the spike is planted, Rigby has to rotate around. And he's waiting for if there's any rotating that's going to happen. As Rolf takes out Rigby, and now Hef's being left alone. As they are trying to get all the corners around on him. As Hef gets one on Rolf. not looking for the second one. AH going for the defuse. Not Mr. Dynamite going for the defuse. I'm sorry, but they nailed securing another round for themselves. 11-7. Red is starting to come back with full force. They are not backing down. They are making sure they're running their corners correctly. They're sticking tight together. This is what we like to see. They are following each kill. They are making sure they have more than one to follow up. As we are entering this after buy phase, as Drag still has the OP. The OP is no longer to be found on white side. Economy looking a little low as we do have a sheriff and a pistol still. So it looks like we're trying to go for a couple econ rounds. They are trying to secure the wins. As Mr. Dynamite gets pop shots off right on Rigby, as he knew he was almost like he knew he was there and the head was just in the scopes. Again, almost getting another pop shot off, causing a little bit of damage. Are they still trying to push B side? Is Red still trying to push B side from far left and middle? Mr. Dynamite ready and prepared for whoever wants to come around that corner. As V is trying to see if he can get a corner on him. Just waiting it out. Waiting for who's going to make the first move, who's going to make the first mistake. As Quasi is trying to get the pop shots off with the pistol. As Drag with the OP already taking off Hef, and then Mr. Dynamite trading it to V.
One enemy
Not looking too good. Not looking too as flawless. 8-11. Red is starting to catch up. Has White gone? Have they gotten a little bit too much? Like, you know, got a little too prideful. Now their pride's getting hurt.
Oh, this is a nice.
Became narrow-minded and just wanted to go. This is not a team deathmatch. Can't just always be getting the kills. You got to play tactical. You got to go for that spike. Maybe switch it up. Let's maybe go middle and spread to B and A. Or to see where they're sitting. Gotta find the weak spots. White, you were finding them before. What happened?
Shadows traveling.
As we are entering this now next round.
Get out
Hef's
of my way.
coming through. Knowing the Jet's there. Hef's now turning it around on Drag.
Off your feet!
Getting rid of the OP off. We do see the heals coming in. Rolf taking out Rigby. Rolf again taking out V. But Lucid turning it around finally on Rolf as Mr. Dynamite then turns around on Hef.
One enemy
H is waiting. Quasi takes out Listen, Mr. Diamond, Lucid, Mr. Dynamite. Only have one left of Quasi has Breach.
Cage triggered.
Is he going to be able to turn it around for his team?
Flash out!
Using a flash.
What's the last bug?
As he walks right into Mr. Dynamite's fire squad. Mr. Dynamite finishing this round with a 3K. Killing over half the team in that round. So you can see now White, it's turned around. White is economy is not as good as Red's. As Red is now able to get the full buys, able to make sure they have all their investments in order. As V now running a pistol and no armor. Not looking too good for him. Oh, there we go. It's now V does have an AR with some light armor as Ruby is trying to get the Boombo out there. Drag again on the OP. It's gonna get those shots off y'all, but better be y'all gotta watch it. You know there's people close. As Hef walks right into Drag with the OP, not even prepared for it. Catches him by surprise. Drag now pulling back to make sure he gets ready for the next kill as Lucid then turns it around for Lizard as V is looking out for some revenge as well.
You will not.
Rolf is now standing in the hallway. Lucid now getting the revive as Quasi goes down from Rolf. Still 4v4. Mr. Dynamite now in the back with the AR. Does get taken down by V.
You should run.
Then Rolf getting the turnaround now with a 3K with the 2 quick succession kills. Young V
I got this
does not have the spike. Now has the spike and is gonna go for the plant. As they
30
do have to
seconds
defend
left.
this against 3 now, as
Spike
Hef
planted.
gonna block the visuals.
Stealing sight.
One player remaining.
As AH is ready for Hef to come up that line.
Good.
And Young V gets 1. Come on, V, you know you got this too.
One player remaining.
And V getting 2. But Drag able to turn it around on V. It looked like a very close clutch, but nothing coming out of it. As Red has come back. 10-11. White needs to win these next 2 if they do not want to go into overtime. As we see Drag still with the OP, they are able to invest. Their economy this half has been promising. As these two teams go head to head for the who is going to be the top, who's going to get these bragging rights of the better San Diego State University team.
Let's go.
It is a very close match. If you want my prediction, I do not know who's going to win. They've both been strong as Drag tries to get a pop shot off and does not get anything off. Rolf now taking out Rigby as they are lining in 1 by 1. Rolf able to get 2 right off the bat. V and Drag still using the OP, trying to get these shots off as his visuals are blocked. Spike now going down. V taking that plant spike. Now he does get a little bit of money off that one. As Mr. Dynamite is waiting for a corner push from either one of them, as Quasi is trying to get one off. Mr. Dynamite going for 2 kills, as almost if it's no issue at all. And then Drag comes up behind him. Like, Mr. Dynamite, alright. Mr. Dynamite coming out of the woodworks, just ready to go with no problemo. Mr. Dynamite is coming out with an explosive amount of power. Really turning it around for his teams. As you can see in this half,
That goes there.
White has only won once. But they've won all the other rounds, bringing it right here where we are now. Is Red going to turn this around as the ultimate comeback? Are they going to prove that underdogs are not to be taken lightly?
This goes here.
As Mr. Dynamite does get flashed right off the
You
bat,
should run.
is pulling back now. But he knows this whole team is coming left to B side, as the whole team is now switching around. Rigby flying in over Mr. Dynamite, getting him taken out, as Mr. Dynamite is a strong player for Red side.
Spike planted.
Lesson coming down, trying to see where the spike is and see if there's anybody there, as Drag is trying to get these OP kills. And Lucid turning it around on Listen, as Drag is now trying to pick up an AR and trying to get some kills off. But right now it's still looking like a flawless. We do have a 5v2 as he does get flashbanged
Player standing.
by Quasi, then able to be taken out. As the attackers now winning 12-1. This is the first round they've actually won. Is White going to turn this round
Match
in
point.
the end and win? Even after Red has fought so hard, is Red just going to let them win, or is this going to go into OT? Red cannot give up as much and as hard as they've pushed. They need to push harder. This is match point. This is all or nothing. And the same thing for White. All or nothing. This is it. This is either you're going to secure your win or we're going to go to OT, and it's anybody's game for sure. As they are going for a strong B push again, as it did work last time for them. Rigby trying to pull out Mr. Dynamite, as Mr. Dynamite is a very strong player. Getting flashbang, have to be pushed back. Drag getting with the OP.
Caught one.
Mr. Dynamite trying to go for the lengths on him. Drag coming out with the knife. Mr. Dynamite getting one on Quasi. It's already looking pretty. It's not looking good. Flawlessing. Red flawlessing White. We are now in
Switching
OT.
sides. Overtime.
This game, which looked like a steamroll for Red, Red said we're not giving up. And just like the little train that could, pushed all the way up that mountain. And now we're waiting. Can the little train that could make it over the mountain and take this home? As now we do see White has changed back to defense, where defense was it was how they got their lead. So I would not be surprised if White takes this round.
Blinding. Cover going out.
And H does try to get some pop shots off, and knowing that they're in the hallway of middle, visuals are blocked. Drag being very confident in putting the back to him. Back to Quasi. And to the Killjoy. As Quasi does get Drag. Drag is now down as AH is stuck between them both. AH trying to get a couple around this. Mr. Dynamite does take out as NAH does now 2 kills.
Going up.
Oh man, as Red is still turning it around and surprising all of us, coming out with these very strong plays. Rolf now going for the plant.
Spike planted.
Now pushing these last 2 defenders to push in. Either if they don't go for it, they're gonna lose, and if they walk in too fast, they're gonna lose. Putting them in a very hard position. How are they gonna make this their own? They have to go against 4 people. As Listen just waiting for Hef to come up. As Rigby getting flashed, trying to get some shots off to see if he can win that fight, and then not winning it.
Switching
If
sides.
Red takes this,
Match point.
it is the most clutch comeback in the history of this season. Coming back from a 10-2. Or is it yes, I think it was a 10-2. Coming back from a 10-2 and winning it 14-12. This would be the most clutch comeback in this season. As this can be the last round we play. Red has been very strong, especially with Mr. Dynamite. They just got to keep cool, calm, and collect and continue what they have done. As White again goes with a B push, which has not turned out very well for them. But they are confident in the B push as Drag, starting off the first interaction, getting Lucid killed. Now they are scattering a little bit, trying to go through mid, get to A side, trying to go full rotation down to A side. As Rigby trying to get some pop shots off through the corners, but AH on the flank invents. This is looking like a Red win right now. As it is a 5v3, Quasi having the spike. In middle, they are all right now trying to go back to B, trying to get around again as Listen takes out Hef. Rigby take out to Listen. Drag gets with the OP, is not able to follow through as it is now a 3v2 with Rigby and Quasi left as Quasi is down to the last 25% of his
seconds
health.
left.
As AH is preparing, gets the flash off, but Quasi able to turn it around as well, and Rolf clutching it out for his team as they win. Red coming back with an amazing game, clutch comeback of this season. If we could just spam clutch in the chat, this is, if you were here tonight, you just witnessed a historic comeback, and you cannot deny that. No matter what team or what side you were voting for, of White versus Red, both teams played amazingly. But Red coming back from sure defeat, as we all counted them out, but being the underdogs that they are, girded themselves up, pulled themselves by their bootstraps, and fought back as hard as they could. And in the end, it paid off, as Drag and Dynamite led their team, Rolf right behind them. All 3 being very strong players. AH coming back in the end, in the last half. Same with Listen. What a great game. What an explosive game. And a historic comeback. And you know what? That's where I got to leave it. I don't know what else. I can't put anything else on top of that. That is the cake and the cherry. So with all that, I will say, as next week we're going into our last week, invite all your friends. Invite everyone to come see this. Invite your family, your dog. Have your dog watch it on another computer. I bet he will even be entertained. Because if this is not entertaining, this is Valorant. This is esports. This is what we came here for a fight of a lifetime, where we see people go all out with their hearts on the line. So I've been the OG Bent, and this has been an amazing game. So come back next week, and we'll see you next time.